Hi, welcome back to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, for tonight, have you ever found yourself running in circles? Literally. Imagine jogging through a familiar park, only to realize you've been looping the same path over and over again with no way out. The people who were running beside you now? It's gone. The landmarks that should have been there, missing. And then, out of nowhere, strangers appear. Well, tonight, before we get on to the story, like usual, if you have yet to do so, please help me like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. And for those who have a little bit of time on your hand, please write in some nice words, nice comments down below. Well, let's get on to the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
Last week, one evening, I decided to go for a jog at a park near my place. The air was thick with humidity and lingering warmth from the sun that had been beating down all afternoon. Just as I reached the park, the sky shifted. A sudden drizzle began to fall, the kind of rain that comes with sunshine still peeking through the clouds. It wasn't heavy, just enough to dampen the leaves and cast a dewy sheen over the pavement. I found shelter on a wooden bench under a cluster of trees. The thick canopy overhead kept me dry, the leaves trembling slightly as droplets slid off their edges. The scent of wet earth filled the air, mingling with crisp freshness of post-rain breeze. I sat there, watching as rain softened, thinning into misty droplets, and then, just as quickly as it had come, it passed. And that's when I saw it, a breathtaking rainbow stretching across the horizon, its colors vivid against the moody, darkening sky. It was one of those moments that felt almost unreal, like a perfect painting brought to life. I reached for my phone and captured the scene, waiting to preserve the beauty of that fleeting moment. By then, more people had started jogging again, their silhouettes moving steadily along the track. I slid my phone back in my pouch bag, did a few quick stretches, and then I joined the runners. Pay attention to this. I started my run at exactly 5:40 p.m. At first, it was just a slow jog, my mind drifting as I took in the surroundings. The park was alive, the chirping of birds settling in for the evening, the rhythmic rustling of leaves swayed by a gentle wind. Here and there, I could see the occasional squirrel darting up tree trunks, their tiny claws scraping against the bark. I wasn't really focused on running, I was just warming up, letting my muscles loosen as I moved. My thoughts were empty, my mind at peace. Then, something shifted. I felt it before I noticed it, a vague sense of unease creeping up my spine. My steps slowed as a realization dawned on me. I had been running the same stretch of track over and over again. The curve that I just passed, I had already taken the turn before. My surroundings should have changed, but they had not. And the people, the runners who had been around me moments ago, they are gone. The park, once bustling with people, had fallen eerily silent. The air seemed heavier pressing against me. My usual landmark, which is a playground at the end of the track, was now missing. I knew it should have been there. I'd run this path countless times before, but now it was nowhere in sight. My heart beat quickening. Something wasn't right. With a deep breath and whispered Bismillah under my breath, I pressed forward. Instinctively, I knew better than to stop, and I knew even better than to look back. The silence was almost suffocating. The rhythmic sound of my footsteps echoed unnaturally, as if I've swallowed by something unseen. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I caught movement ahead. Well, I saw a boy, no older than 9 years old, was running towards me, alone. My brows furrowed. What was a child doing here all by himself, especially this deep into the track. But before I could fully process it, another figure appeared, a man, elderly, likely in his 60s, jogging in the same direction as the boy, but his head was down and his pace steady. A flicker of relief sparked in my chest. At least I wasn't alone anymore, I thought to myself. But just as suddenly as they appeared, the moment that they passed me, as I looked back, the boy and the old man were now gone. The back of my neck prickled. The air had turned oddly still, as though the entire park was holding its breath. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to keep going, my steps quickening. And then I smelled it, a kasturi kijang, a rich, musky scent, distinct and powerful. A man ran past me instead of running towards me, overtaking me with ease. I had no idea where he had came from, but something inside me decided, follow the guy. I fell into step behind me, keeping my pace, my breath shallow with anticipation. Step after step, I counted in my head. 1, 2, 3, 15. And then I saw it. The playground, right where it should have been all along. I nearly stumbled from the sheer relief washing over me. My chest rose and fell in sharp breaths as I slowed to a stop. I checked my watch. The time showed 6:20 p.m. That is 40 minutes that I was in the loop. Something wasn't right. I knew I had spent far too long running in that loop, yet somehow time hadn't matched up. The unsettling feeling lingered, gnawing at the edges of my mind. I had to test it. I restarted my run, this time checking my watch carefully. 6:30 p.m. I ran the same track, pushing myself forward with measured breath. This time, it took me less than 10 minutes to reach the playground. My skin prickled as realization settled in. The first round, whatever happened in that first round, was different, distorted. Had something been toying with me, keeping me trapped in that endless loop, or was it just my imagination? I didn't know. All I knew was something was off, or whatever it was, it had let me go. Not everyone believed this story, and that's fine. Some might say it's just an illusion, a trick of my own mind. But when you experience something firsthand, when you feel it deep down in your bones, you know when something isn't normal. And the day after, I ran the same track again. This time, I started at 6:05 p.m. By the time I'm finished, it's 6:38 p.m. But I had run 3 rounds of the same track. So what do you think really happened to the person the other day? Was the person caught in a time sleep, a supernatural loop, or was just the person's mind playing trick on him or her? Well, let me know down below if you experienced something similar. Like usual, if you have yet to do so, please help me like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. Once again, thank you very much for listening in. This is Kim from Creepy with Coffee. Until the next episode.